Hello and welcome to Today in Film, episode 9. I'm your host, Dominic Parry, and with me today is...
Greg Toby.
Now, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Green Book, starring Mahershala Ali and... I've forgotten the other guy's name.
Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah, this film, if you don't know, won Best Picture and some other Oscars. So, it's a big deal, apparently. But alas, Greg, what do you think of this film?
I've very, very mixed feelings on this. Like, whilst it's an enjoyable experience, it's incredibly cliche. It has, it feels too much like a road movie for me to truly appreciate it, really. It's incredibly, awards baity, but apart from that, it's a decent film. But yeah,
I don't think I could put it better myself, to be honest. I think, apart from the acting, which was good, but the problem with it is the characters aren't difficult to play.
No, they seem to be
they're
quite
very normal.
Yeah, and sort of like you could find them in any film.
Yeah, so they could be the side character in another film.
No, exactly.
And the thing is, they're characterized, but we don't know about them really. We don't know their history. We don't know.
Yeah, we're not told enough.
Because if I have to be honest, Don Shirley, so the Doctor, Mahershala Ali, he came across to me as the protagonist of this film. And
oh yeah, absolutely.
I feel like a kind of the filmmaking style of having the two characters and you show character one, character two, character one, character two, and then they come together and meet. But we've seen them a bit before. I feel like that would have been better than here's Tony Lip and he goes to meet the Doctor, because we haven't seen the Doctor at all. And the thing is,
it's focused too much on Tony Lip.
Yeah. And the whole fact that they set it up to be like, when because Mahershala Ali, when he first comes in, it's a big, he kind of reveals himself, and it's meant to be like, oh my god, it's a black man, and this guy doesn't like black people or something. But if you looked at any poster for the film, you know it was about a white man and a black man. So
yeah,
that scene felt I don't know what the word would be. Yeah, it felt a bit off. It felt out of place. It shouldn't have been in this film where this character is a black man, and we know he's a black man. We knew it from the start. So what was the point of having that kind of weird setup?
No, I completely agree. I sort of knew bits and pieces here and there about the story of these two and how, it sort of kickstarted a lifelong friendship. But it, for a newcomer, it didn't really tell you enough for you to care about the characters until probably towards the end, really.
But I think even then, you still only cared about them partially, because you didn't know enough of them to care. You cared about the scenario that they had been put into, and these were just like the conduits, essentially. So we're watching these two people, and they're dealing with racism in 19 whatever America.
Yeah, 1960s, racism road trip, as you do.
Yeah. And, I forgot what I was going to say now. I had a good point, but I've forgotten it. But, so, what do you like about this film?
What I like about it, I quite like how it's shot. It's an incredibly, beautiful looking film. It's got a lot of, really nice shots that sort of show off the landscapes, but also some quite like meaningful shots. Like, do you remember they sort of stopped somewhere and there was that plantation?
Oh yeah, and he kind of looks
Yeah,
over
like
at
that
them.
whole that whole back and forth of the the juxtaposition. I thought that was like it's quite hard hitting, really. Like the reality that was still going on. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I just really liked how it was shot. Really.
I think I have to agree with you there. That is a very strong part of the film. But then again, that doesn't make the film. That's the kind of that's the thing with it. But I think
Hmm.
uh, dealing with the racism and stuff, there's that section where Tony Lip is kind of essentially taking the mick out of Don Shirley, because he's saying like, your people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then Don Shirley gets out of the car and he's just like, I'm not black enough, I'm not white enough. And it's
Hmm.
like, that feels like such a stereotypical preachy line that
It
worked in the
did.
moment,
Yeah.
but then
Oh
like
yeah.
when
I
you
mean.
actually think about it, it's like, yeah, but no one would, like, it feels too preachy for him to say it to this guy who's just a randomer essentially.
You see, I found it to be quite visceral. I mean, it was sort of so Tony Lip. He
Yeah,
was only brought up on the stereotypes. And when he met Don Shirley, he was like completely different to all the black people that he knew. And so I think that actually, like, that line was to sort of, I know it was a wake up call, really, for Tony. To sort of say
so,
like, we're not all like that.
so that's what I mean. So the line is great,
Mm,
but it's one of those lines where you can tell it's a drama uh, dramatization. Yeah, dramatization, is it? Yeah, of
yeah.
a true story, because it feels like that whole exchange feels very like, I don't know how much of that would be true.
Yeah, it
And
does
so
feel a bit filmy,
yeah,
which I
a
think
lot of
is,
this film feels filmy.
maybe the problem with it, I think.
There's too many perfect things that happen essentially.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it, like the the jade stone thing, like that's such a little thing
Mm.
that you would not have known about that
No,
unless
exactly.
you were like there or close friends with them or close relatives, which it seems they didn't really have a lot of those around at the time, like on the set and stuff.
No.
So that kind of thing feels like, I don't know, it takes away from the realism.
It does, yeah. It feels like I mean, that sort of scene you could get in a classic road trip film. Like maybe one of the National Lampoon films or something.
It's, I mean, like, I can't remember what film, but there are a number of films, probably tons of films. But the ending, where it's and he invites him in for dinner, but he says no. But then guess what? He takes him up on the offer. It's like,
Hmm.
it's too filmy and too perfect. Like,
Yeah, we're talking about the ending scene, aren't we?
yeah, like
Yeah.
I said to you when we were talking about before, that if he had just had the last scene of Don Shirley sitting on the throne alone, could have been a perfect ending to
Like
it,
bookend.
a bookend. And it's because that's, Tony Lip's at home and Don Shirley's back in his office where they met.
Hmm.
It essentially, it would technically be a mirror shot,
No,
technically,
totally, yeah.
but
No,
obviously
no, I
you're
completely
seeing it
agree.
from a different direction. But despite, although I am being very negative about the film, I feel I did enjoy it quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean it's a good time,
It's a good time, but do you think it is Best Picture worthy?
Ooh, so that's a big question. I mean, I think when the Academy chose it for Best Picture, I think they were really just going for the safest option, really. Because if you look
Yeah.
at the whole thing, it does feel like the sort of typical Best Picture.
Well, it was the what was it? The notable ones. It was the Black Klansman and the
Yeah.
Favourite.
Mm.
It wasn't. Was it? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or was that just BAFTAs? Okay.
I think that was the next year.
Yeah, but essentially, the Favourite and Black Klansman. Now,
Mm.
Black Klansman, I've not seen it, but I do know what it's about. If you looked at any of
Yeah,
the
I mean,
trailers, you know what the film's
I'd say
about.
that would have been a better Best Picture in my opinion. I mean, for one thing, it's a much more acclaimed film,
Yeah,
and it would have been like a little bit more of a risk,
I feel
really.
like that. I can't remember. Isn't that based on a true story as well, or partially?
Yes,
Yeah, and that one, uh, it's from Spike Lee, isn't it?
it is. It's Spike Lee, yeah, with John David Washington
Yeah.
and Adam Driver.
So I get the feeling, I strongly get the feeling that they would have reached out to anyone they could have to get the story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, it's Spike Lee. He has an attention to detail,
yeah. So
whereas
that's a funny
Green
thing.
Book.
Green Book, the perfectionist director who made him redo a milk drinking scene 3 times. That doesn't come across as perfectionist to me.
No, I
Like
mean this is the director of Dumb and Dumber we're talking about.
what a Criterion Collection level director.
Oh yeah,
But he's just like that. When I read that on Amazon, I was just like, no, that's because obviously it's very early on in the film,
mm.
and so you kind of
Yeah.
get
It's like within like the first 10 minutes or something.
so you get the impression from that he's there's going to be some scenes later on where they bring it back that he was a perfectionist and he made them redo this and that. The
No.
only thing I noticed was that every scene where they eat food, they ate food.
Oh
Which,
yeah, you don't see that ever.
see, that's the thing though, because in my filmmaking world of my mind, essentially,
Yeah.
if I ever write in a drinking scene or a eating scene, I want it to be done. Like, if a character has a pint of beer, I want the actor to drink the pint of beer, unless obviously they can't drink beer, we'll just have like an alternative or something. I want them
Yeah,
to
I mean,
drink
there was
it
a line
'cause-
in this that was like, what was it? Like everything you do it like 100%. If
Yeah.
you're gonna eat, you eat like it's your last meal.
yeah, it's just I hate the scenes. You know when you see them and they have the cup and they put it to their mouth, and some actors are so bad at it that they put it up to their mouth, and
Or
it
like
barely
or when
it barely
people are like
touched their
sitting in
mouth.
a cafe and they're just talking with the food in front of them, not touching it.
There's some films that where they do eat stuff like that, but then like it's a very American thing where they leave food, isn't it?
Yeah.
They order it, eat about 2 spoonfuls, and then they bugger off. It's like,
Yeah,
why?
it's just like, whoops, gotta go.
Like to bring it back around. End of the world. World's End.
Yes.
Not Doctor Who. Here. World's End. They are clearly drinking something.
Oh yeah.
Probably not beer, but they're drinking
No.
something. And you can tell they're drinking something.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which
it's liquid.
it adds to realism.
Exactly.
Like the scenes where someone drinks from the cup and then they don't even swallow, or they take a sip and they instantly pull the cup away from their mouth and they're talking like fluent, just fine. It's like there were scenes in this where they ate something or drank something, and then they spoke, and it was like I can tell that person's just eaten something or drank something.
No, exactly. Yeah. I mean, one thing I read is there was I think it was one of the family members of Tony Lip.
Is it the
He
fish thing?
was yeah, he was
Yeah,
like they told him not to eat the fish between takes, and he said, "Well, this isn't a prop. This is actual good fish."
that was the weird thing though, because that came up for me about halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
But then the
Yeah, same
scene
here.
with the fish is at the end of the movie. I
Mm.
didn't see any other fish in the movie,
No.
so I was a bit like, and you don't even see them eating it. They kind of just like tear into it, and then that's it. So
Mm.
I didn't get how he can be like so anal about it.
No, no. Well, it's continuity, really.
I suppose it is, but even then, you're not focusing on them.
No.
Like it's not like Don Shirley had a glass of the whiskey. I think it was. I think it was whiskey. I'm not even sure. I was going to search it up, but
Yes,
so
something like that.
he has a glass of whiskey and he takes a sip, and then it cuts away, and then he has more than he had before. That's
Hmm.
continuity, And they would say, "Oh, don't drink the drinks" or something like that. But it's a bit weird calling this guy a perfectionist when he just comes across as not perfectionist.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a
Hmm.
weird one.
Yeah. I mean, going back to that Jade Stone scene, you could tell that this was being done by a comedy director.
Oh, it's,
That
yeah.
and the bone throwing scene.
Yeah, actually, there was multiple scenes where that came across like a comedy director, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. The whole, go back for the cup.
Yeah. I mean, that was one that kind of it was like too obvious, I think.
Mm.
To me
Yeah, no, totally.
to me anyway, like there's probably people who like watched that and laughed at that. But I saw it and I was like, I knew that was coming. Like the guy, the way he's acting, there's no reason he'd allow that.
Yeah, you see, that was my problem with the humor. It was incredibly predictable, really. Like,
The film was
mm,
predictable,
yeah,
but like there were problems with the there were problems with the film because he goes off. Don Shirley goes off twice in the film, probably more
yeah,
than twice, and he gets in trouble.
yeah.
We don't get to see that trouble apart from in the
No,
bar. But then
mm,
he's in the showers with the other guy, and it's so skipped over. Like it,
yeah. Like, it's another instance of like where we only get to see the aftermath.
yeah, you don't get to see. It's like um, the kind of come in late, leave early thing. We
Yeah,
came in too late and left straight away.
mm,
We didn't get to see anything. Like,
yeah. Mm. I think
and
that's the problem with scenes like that.
I feel like that's the problem with the um, white savior kind of thing with this film
Yeah, it's
because
an
he's
incredibly white savior, really. Like it feels like Don Shirley's only really like part of this to help Tony's character.
yeah, and that's the weird thing because that wouldn't happen in real life.
No.
It felt so. If like it felt so kind of cliche, and the fact that like, oh, this kind of like tough guy Tony Lip is teaching this kind of stuck up, essentially, pianist who's rich and stuff, and he's showing him the kind of joys of life. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but that doesn't seem like it'd be real.
No, I mean the fact that it's a true story as well, it's sort of it's making that real life story cliche, really,
Yeah,
which really shouldn't be the case.
cliche like the whole. I mean, think about this. I can just name. I'm naming moments just from memory of these cliche bits
Yeah.
because they stuck out so egregiously
Oh yeah,
that
like
I
a
just
sore
couldn't.
thumb.
Yeah, like the one scene that was like I was kind of like, if that was real, cool scene. If it wasn't real, that's a shit scene. And it's the
Yeah.
when they're in the prison cell, and he calls the president. And it's like,
Yeah.
if that's real, yeah, okay, props to that. But if it's made up, then it's like, why make it up? And
Yeah,
it
you see,
feels like
if it's a scene that they've made up, it does seem a bit over the top.
it feels so. The reason I feel it's made up, obviously it could be real, but because they didn't actually consult the Don Shirley's relatives, they obviously wouldn't have the whole picture. The reason I think is because they make a point to mention that he's played at the White House twice before he starts playing the piano first time. They make a
Yeah,
point to
that's the
say it,
thing.
and
Yeah.
then it comes back. That's a very movie kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Sort of a
You know,
Chekhov's gun.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, he won. He like came first in like the kind of a long distance running or something, and then oh wait, later in the movie he has to run a
They
long
need
distance.
to run. Yeah.
It's just that's the thing. It's like there's so many little bits in this film that make it feel like it wasn't. It feels like it was slightly based on a true story, but we didn't
But they
actually
mess
have enough
around with
story.
it.
Yeah, it's like well, I don't even know. Like I don't even know what to say about this film, to be honest, without just repeating myself about cliches.
Yeah.
It's in my mind, it's not at all Best Picture,
No, definitely not.
and there are films. The whole concept of the racism. It's a very like teaching racism kind of film, not teaching about racism film. I mean, not teaching racism, and I feel like that's what kind of holds it up. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So they benefited from that. Like, it's like if you have a film. It's like what was the film? Bombshell. Did you hear about that one?
The one about the
Fox
Me Too.
News, wasn't it? Yeah, the Me Too, and like it was Fox News or something like that. The marketing for that film, for some reason, I kept seeing it, and it was like the biggest movie this year, and I was like, no, it isn't. It's not all the biggest movie this year, because one, I didn't hear about it until I went to the cinema, so there you go, and two, it's just not that kind of film.
No, I mean, the way it was marketed, I did think it looked more like a comedy, really.
Yeah, it did. And that's the thing, it's like taking these real stories and trying to make them into like these awards baity things. And the kicker to it is they have a message an underlying message in them. And that's what they're counting on. They want you to know the message. And if you know the message, then you might feel good about yourself afterward.
No, exactly. I mean, that's really Hollywood, in a sense.
I mean, it was. I don't even know, like, this. What do you want to say about this film?
Well, I mean, the music in it, I think, is absolutely superb. I mean, one of the things I found out actually is that it's not Mahershala Ali playing the music.
No, it's the double guy.
Yeah, he basically took all these pieces and rearranged them, as it were.
I feel like, especially because he doubled, I was impressed with the piano playing. It was very good.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You could hear the quality of it.
Oh,
So I feel
absolutely.
like
Yeah.
I get the feeling that they recorded the actual music potentially separately to get the
Yeah.
best sound from it, because otherwise you might have like some echo and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
these that like the whole, because the Amazon X-ray thing with the double comes up about halfway through, as again, and it wasn't until he goes to the Orange Bird place
Yeah.
and he plays one of the toughest songs on piano that I was like, okay, this guy's good,
Mm.
because he played good, but he was playing like it was it was very similar notes if you looked at it. So
Yeah.
if you watch the
Yeah,
hands.
definitely. Yeah.
So, but just the piano playing was incredible,
Mm.
and uh, the songs in the car and stuff like that, they were good as well.
Yeah, I mean, it
Of the
definitely
time.
had that whole like 50s feel to it. It sort of put you in that sort of,
Yeah.
well, old world.
In fact, yeah, the biggest cliche I just thought that when they get pulled over by the cop and they get arrested,
Mm.
and then they get pulled over later on, and they've done it so that you're gonna get tense.
Yeah.
And then it's like a kind of it's like oh, it's all right. That feels like a very film moment as well, like an added
Oh,
in.
definitely. Yeah, and the whole like, making us like wait
Yeah,
for the police to arrive, and it's sort of like, step out the car, please. Wait, what? Step out the car. It's that sort of very, I don't know, like again, it's not something we haven't seen before.
no, and I don't know if that's a bad thing to say about how like, because
Mm.
it deals with an important issue, but it's an issue that this film. I don't know what was so important about the story of this film that we needed a film about it.
No, you see, like, Black Klansman had, like, I feel that the story there was not only better executed, but it was actually much more relevant, especially now.
Well, yeah, like it's not just this true story films. True story films.
Mm.
My favourite kind of example is Ray, starring Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Mainly because that was what kind of got me into Ray Charles' music.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the fact that it was a story that needed to be told. I
No,
feel like
absolutely, yeah.
because Ray Charles, incredible, remarkable man.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That deserved a film. But I can't say I needed to know about Don Shirley and Tony Lep's journey across America.
No.
Like,
No, I feel like if I wanted to know about it, I would have, read a book about it.
yeah, it was weird because it like you said, it felt a bit like a music biopic, but then it didn't, because you didn't learn anything about the characters.
No.
Although you did learn stuff, you didn't learn anything like major.
New.
Yeah, you didn't learn like Ray Charles. You see him and Ray from a young age to an older age, so it's a following through. It obviously skips and
Yeah,
whatever.
it's a life story.
But this film has an egregious point where it skips over, I think it's like 3 or 4 of the locations on the tour.
Yeah.
It's like, if they were so unimportant that you could skip them, what was so important about
The whole story.
Pittsburgh and the whole story, everything? Because I can't say after watching that I felt like that was a cool story.
Mm.
Like,
No.
like, unless there was if there was some remarkable um, relation to like something happening today, the year it came out, whatever, then I could understand it. But from what I've seen, there was absolutely no reason. The blokes
No,
died. The blokes died in
yeah,
2013. The film came out in 2018. Was it?
18, yeah.
Yeah. So, not to hate on this film,
Oh,
but
no, no. I mean, it's got, many, many merits. It's just, yeah.
it's just not a. It's a film. I feel a bit, a kind of a bit like Joker. Like it was hyped up.
Yeah.
It was hyped up so much that it, like when you watch it, you're like, why? Like this movie's fine as just a watch. Like it's a fun movie, but it has a bit more of it has a serious undertone in some parts.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'd watch it again, even though this is my second time watching it.
Yeah, I can't say I'd watch it again.
It doesn't
Like
feel like something I'd be watching over and over, and get anything new from it.
no, the one thing it did give me is hope for Mahershala Ali as Blade.
Definitely,
'Cause
yeah. Like
he comes across
his
as a
like
good
acting
actor.
in this,
Yeah,
yeah, it's phenomenal.
it's. I know I know his character's very kind of straightforward and very. Like he's not very expressive, but
No,
he comes across as very like well played.
oh yeah, definitely.
Like because it'd be easy to kind of make the like the voice kind of lift and stuff like that. I don't know. It's weird. Like all the acting stuff. Kind of the fact that his voice is it's quite monotonous, but not.
Yeah, it's dialed back
Yeah,
until it's time for emotion.
yeah, and you know it, and you can tell it's his personality, and that's like the importance he puts on language and stuff because he's trying to fit
No,
in.
absolutely. Whereas Viggo Mortensen's character feels like he's straight out of a Martin Scorsese film. Like he wouldn't go out of place in Goodfellas.
I mean, wasn't Tony Lip in Goodfellas?
I
Because
think
he
so. He
became
was
yeah,
also in the Sopranos.
yeah, because he became an actor.
Yeah.
I don't think he even said that at the end of the film.
No, I mean, they really only focus on the fact that they were friends for the rest of
Yeah,
their lives.
it's like I would I would have found that more interesting at the end
Yeah.
than like yeah, basically just telling me something that's like interesting, like oh he wanted to be an actor. I didn't know that.
Mm.
Does it have any actual importance to any of it? Not really.
No, but I mean, it's a nice
But
little detail.
it's a nice little detail, but then again, like we said, we can't see the reason for the story to be out there.
Exactly.
Like these, I can't really say that these two were remarkable individuals.
No.
Like,
I feel like this story could have done better as a mini series, perhaps.
or a shorter,
No, exactly, or a shorter film. Yeah.
or even just like a kind of documentary style. More documentary style, like more fact based kind of thing.
No,
But
absolutely. Yeah.
it just it wasn't my cup of tea. I enjoyed it, but there were too many things in it that I could like see that I didn't
Yeah.
that didn't sit well with me. So, have you got any more points to add? Or
Not really. No, I mean, there's not a whole lot to pick apart.
there isn't. That's the biggest problem. I think it is safe. It's basic.
It's incredibly safe. It's like, well, J.J. Abrams safe.
Oh God, don't bring him up. But
Good old
yeah,
Jar Jar Abrams.
but yeah, it's its own thing.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It's a one and done.
It's a one and done. What would you give it out of 10?
I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10. You know, it's not awful, but it's not great either. You know, it's just
No.
good.
I think I would have to probably give it. I was going to say 6, but yeah, I think 6.5. It's saved in part by like some of the acting and like the music, but it didn't do anything that screamed Best Picture, and I don't know.
No, yeah.
It didn't come off as anything special to me, like at all.
No.
Throughout the entire film, there was nothing like groundbreaking or revolutionary. It was very kind of not my thing. But
Yeah. Falls
the
flat.
thing is, yeah, it could have been, and I'm not saying it's not my thing, as in like this style, this genre is my thing, because I enjoy movies about factual things like this. You know,
Oh
learning
yeah, I
about
mean,
these
you know,
interesting
some of my
people.
favorite films are about, you know, just stories like this, but I think yeah, the execution could
they've
have
got to
been
have
a lot better.
they've got to have um, a reason behind why you're telling this story.
Yeah, a hook.
Yeah, it's like, right, if somebody don't steal this idea, I might do it if I can find it. But if someone was to write a film about Roald Dahl, you know, or anyone else, you know, Roald Dahl would be an interesting film.
No,
Wouldn't it?
definitely, because he had quite an interesting life.
Yeah, he did, and he did a
You know,
lot.
especially his childhood.
I mean, he was in the war.
Yeah.
He was friends with Ian Fleming.
Mm.
So, and he wrote.
You Only Live Twice.
Yeah, You Only Live Twice. I was trying to remember. Yeah, that's that guy. Like, yeah, I would watch a film about that.
Yeah.
I might even go to the cinema to watch that film.
Mm.
But you show me this film here, I could not care less. I don't know any of them, and by the end of the film, I didn't know them still.
Yeah.
The one guy was a pianist, the other guy was a tough man, essentially.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, it's basically an Odd Couple film crossed over with a road trip movie.
With a smattering of racism in there.
Yeah, as you do.
But I think that'll do it for this episode. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So hope you've enjoyed listening or watching or whatever, if anyone has, that is. And go watch the other stuff. Go listen to the other stuff. Whatever. Subscribe and leave reviews on the podcast ones. I don't know. Just do stuff. Enjoy it.
Yeah. If you want to follow us, you can find us on Instagram. What is it?
And
At
Twitter.
Today in Film Podcast.
It's Today in Film Pod, or Today in Film Pod. No, that's Twitter. Yes, Today in Film Podcast. If you search Today in Film, like, it'll come up. You know.
Yeah, you'll find us.
So that'll do it for this one. See you next time. Well, hear you next
See you
time.
then.
Whatever. See ya.